here is where the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sandopi hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Pileski goes, dives onto the right side. Very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys. Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Pileski. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. Well, now it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the lap car and around those at the same time. At the same time. He's got the inside corner. Will he ride the curb? Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Vito Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will cook the grass. Oh, a 180, no, a 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernald. Gernald will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
Before Nigel Mansell, British racing driver John Watson gave the Silverstone fans a reason to cheer when he took a win in front of his home fans racing for McLaren at the 1981 British Grand Prix. Today, we return to Silverstone with the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship, and while the cars may be a simulation of Colin Chapman's 1978 machine, the liveries that you will see this season are based off of a 1981 Formula One Championship, and they look stunning. Hello everyone and welcome to Global SimRacing Channel's coverage of Round 1 of the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship. I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me in the booth once again is former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn. Behind the scenes we have our director Andre Diarmin sitting in the director's chair over there using camera sets provided by Dougie Beard. Richie, if you're a Grand Prix fan, you know Silverstone, but some of our younger viewers might not be as familiar with this historic configuration of a British circuit.
Yeah, thank you, Sam, and welcome to Silverstone Raceway. It's home of the British Motorsports. Basically, we are running the layout that was used before the 2009 reconfiguration, the historic layout, but it is also without the chicanes in Vale and Abbey. This is one of my favorite layouts. It flows really well. Built on an old airport, so it's very flat and very fast. You have some passing areas, but the most popular one will be going into Stowe at the end of the hangar straight. That's your best passing opportunity. But you need to get a good exit out of the famous Beckett's area. But probably the best way to get a good look at this track is let's jump on that GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Juha Norlampi and the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Silverstone. Coming down to Copse, this is a wicked fast corner in this car. Pass attempts will only come from the brave or the foolish. Where the car winds up determines which you were. Coming off the corner, bring it to the right for the best line into the Maggots-Beckett sequence. This set of S's starts with quicker corners that get slower as you go. Being able to keep your speed up to produce more grip from the ground effects will be important through here. Ideally, you want to set yourself up for the launch off the final right-hander, and once you blast through Chapel, you'll see why. The Lotus tends to punch a big hole in the air, and with the length and speed of the hangar straight feeding that, cars will get a giant slipstream. Expect plenty of pass attempts down into Stowe. The problem is, it's got a pretty short braking zone. Plus, if you can carry your speed around the outside, sometimes drivers will be able to fight back on the run-up to Vale. Unfortunately, in the historic layout, it's a fast sweeper with a narrow line into Club. That means drivers will want to sort it out instead of attempting a too-wide entry. Off of Club, once again, your exit will be critical to the lap. The historic layout removes the Abbey chicane and returns it to its traditional fast kink. Passes might once again take place, but the grip of the 79 makes bridge frighteningly quick. That does make it easier to take a wider entry into Priory, where the more technical final few turns of the course begin. But if there's one thing this car isn't a fan of, it's low-speed turns. It takes a gentle right foot without the downforce to help you out with this beast's immense power. The main thing is to set yourself up for the run out of Luffield. You can see how tough it is to get on the gas. Woodcote is easily flat out, and as you come across the line, you've now finished a lap around Silverstone.
So that's a lap around this historic configuration of the Silverstone circuit. Now, obviously, it's a clean slate for all as far as the championship is concerned. 2 weeks ago, we wrapped up the previous season of the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship. The crowns were awarded to Gernot Prix, who ended up taking home the driver's title, as well as Ligier, who were able to triumph over Ferrari during the team championship. New team assignments for this season. We'll get to those, I'm sure, as the season progresses and get you an idea of... here we go, as we get Machias on screen right there. You'll get used to all these new liveries. As we mentioned, Richie, they look great. The race format, though, quite similar to the previous seasons.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a great season. Last season was a good one. We had some good action. Obviously, the championship wasn't that close in the end. Gernot Prix kind of blew everybody away, but we got some good people starting this season here. And here we are, round 1 of 12. They do have 4 driver drops and 2 team drops. This race is going to be 29 laps, and setups are open, but there's no reason to stop for fuel or tires. We do have our standard 17X incident cap, so anything more than that, you will get disqualified. And they do use the official iRacing points.
Yeah, I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We had a great show last season, and hopefully we are looking forward to more great shows this season. Although, we got to get this out of the way early on here. One of the drivers in this field has a last name Macbeth. And so hopefully that's not bad luck for the shows that we're going to have this season. The number 8 of Sean Macbeth going out there on the track right now, and me being from Britain, I'm sure this is not the last time you will hear us mention his name. I'll tell you what, sure, even performance-wise, it might not be the last time we mention his name out there in the number 8 machine. He's yet to turn the lap during this qualifying session going on right now. We'll see if he's able to get up there. Right now, Sergio Machias sitting as a provisional pole sitter on a 129.0. Well, Richie, I'm taking a look at the team lineup we have this season, trying to see which teams are really going to be, we're really going to want to keep an eye on. Ferrari definitely stands out. Barry West and Mark Pickford, 2 strong performance. However, they might get off to a slow start here, because I believe Barry West won't be racing for the first few weeks. Other drivers, by the way, who have announced in the forums are normally top contenders in this car that they won't be racing this full season. We have Moreira. He said he's not going to commit to the full schedule, as well as Antti Lepisto, also not committing to the full schedule. Now, that doesn't mean we won't see them at times during this season, but they won't be out there racing for the championship.
Yeah, and we also, Gernot's not here as well, so our defending champion from last season. So it's kind of wide open starting this season out. And I'm sure we'll see those guys. It is a big commitment to run, every Sunday. And so I'm sure we'll see them show their names up here when we get going a little deeper into this.
There you see our new provisional pole sitter, Juha Nurolampi. He's here for the season opening. He just took pole by 2/10 over Nuno Moreira. Currently sitting third is Sergio Machias. Definitely 3 big names associated with this car. And right now, just a couple of tenths covering them all. And actually, as I look down the whole order here, Richie, definitely some names we're familiar with racing in the Lotus 79. Some we haven't seen for a little while, but it always appears. It's a great thing about a new season on iRacing. Everyone's hopes are high, and the big names always come out for the season opener. Currently, 19 drivers signed into this session. 17 have turned times. The slowest so far being Glenn Corrigan in the number 18 machine. He is out there on track code, so might be trying to go a bit faster.
And we only got like a second or 1 second covering basically the top 10. So it's a very close field right now.
Yeah, here we're riding on board Glenn, actually, coming around to complete his second time lap. He's a couple of seconds off of Lewis Hamilton in 16th, so he's got a chunk of time to try and make up. Oh, he's able to shave off a second. Still, though, just sitting 18th on the grid. One driver yet to turn the lap, that is Sean Wiltshire, and he is out there, though, on the track on the first of his qualifying laps right now, but I'm not sure he'll be able to make it back to the... No, he's in the final sector. He should be able to pull this off. Actually, the only car out there on track, number 12, indicating, based on his iRating, that he should be expected to qualify around 12th position. Of course, it doesn't always pan out that way. Let's see, though. Can Wiltshire break into the top 10 with less than 10 seconds left on the clock? He must have had an off during his hot lap, because that one's not going to count.
And he cut that close. It was like 2 seconds to go.
So, Sean Wiltshire will have his work cut out for him. Let's read off a grid here. Starting with Juha Noralumpki. He ended up improving, actually, on his second lap. Now 0.3 of a second over Moreira. Machias will be starting from 3rd place, ahead of Michael van den Berg. Adam Fraser rounds out the top 5, ahead of Pablo Lombrera Suarez, who is back. He's starting in 6th place. Sergio Fernandez starting in 7th, ahead of James Wilson, Kane Halliburton, and Ryan McCusker rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, next up's going to be John Stevens and Stefan Baluka in row 6 there. Ove Trenkerade in 13th with Martin Blaise in 14th. Your favorite here, Sean McBeth in 15th and Mark Pickford in 16th. Lewis Emerton in 17th, Glenn Corrigan in 18th, and Sean Wiltshire didn't get a lap completed. Will start 19th.
So all of them should be getting set up on the grid right here. They got 1 minute left before the lights will go off. And the first turn here, Richie, not the trickiest first corner. They're still going to be building up speed as they go through. But then when they get to Maggots and Beckett's, that's where they're really going to want to try and get sorted out.
Yeah, don't get too much speed going to turn 1. But once they get through turn 1, then they're really building up the power for Maggots and Beckett's, and they're going to want to filter in single file because it's very tough to go through that section side by side.
Still waiting on our pulsator to the grid up. There he is. All right, all 19 cars are lined up on the grid, and the new season of Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship is about to start. The lights are off and away they go, and it's a nice launch off of a line from Noralumpki.
We got a big wreck in the back there. We got a big wreck in the middle of the field.
Yeah, all of the drivers up front were clean and able to hold position, but as you mentioned, complete opposite story at the back. One car spinning out of Cops, and that's Suarez.
Yeah, it looks like Suarez. He's always been up in the top 5 or so, so it's a bad start for him, but lost it in that turn 1. I don't know if he had any contact, but now he's going again. Doesn't have any damage, but he's way back.
So Noralumpki leads as they come down the Hannah Straight for the first time, down into Stowe. Moreira rides in second, Machias, Vandenberg, Fraser, all in the positions that they started. James Wilson got off to a good start. He started in 8th place, already up to 6th.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a battle with Sean Wiltshire and Mark Pickford. They were going back and forth on that back stretch. Everybody going wide off that corner there. You can get away with that, no penalty. So you can carry a lot more momentum into this next section, which is really important.
So one car sitting in the pits already from that early incident. That's Stefan Baluka. I'm also not seeing John Stevens out there on track, Richie.
Yeah, part of the reason, too, that's tricky on the start, those guys in the back, you can see they're starting on a corner. So you get on the gas a little too hard, and it's really hard to control that wheel speed. And sometimes, you just kind of, there it goes. People are just getting a little bit sideways, and that was just a little bit too bad. John Stevens just got wadded up by somebody else. And, Luca just got a little bit sideways. See how he's starting on a corner on the gas, and then you can see everybody spinning the tires, and you go to do that shift right there. And unfortunately, John just caught the bad end of that.
And as we come back to live action, let's get Ove Trantere, who just had a massive incident coming out of Cops. He hit another car that was stationary in the middle of the track. I think this was Lewis Emerton.
Yeah, just going through turn 1 there, and he comes around the corner, and this guy spins, and there he is, T-bone. That's just too bad. That's going to end his day.
And yes, I'm not seeing Lewis Emerton up there in the top 10 anymore, so unfortunate for those two drivers. Couple of incidents to start the race here at the Silverstone circuit, and maybe it shouldn't be too surprising, Richie. It's quite a hot day here today, which is rare for England. 104 degrees Fahrenheit track temperature. That normally means a bit of sliding around.
Yeah, they should be okay though. These tires are pretty durable. They use the old bias ply type tires, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. I think it's just, you know, just the nature of this track. It's very fast, and they're just constantly trying to keep the speed up, and it's just really easy. I mean, I've raced here in this car myself, and I've crashed many times just trying to keep that momentum up. Got a good battle here for second place between Nuno and Sergio and Michael Vandenberg. These guys are nose to tail as they go through Magnus and Beckett's here.
So even though we've lost some contenders in the middle of the field, the action's still hot and heavy up front, although Nora Lumpke has broken up to a 1.5 second lead over this battle for second that we're watching. As they work their way through Vale and Club. This is one of the first two chicanes that, you know, isn't as much of a chicane back in the day. They've had to slow it down as the cars got faster, and now they go through Abbey. Much a similar story here.
Yeah, Nora Lampe's doing a good job just pulling out away like he normally does, nice and smooth, staying out of everybody's battle, and the real battle is for that second, third, and fourth, and they got a whole train of cars coming up behind them.
So as they come around, they complete in lap 3 of 29 laps. We will be racing out here today at Silverstone. Quite a long race, honestly, for these drivers out here, considering the fact it's about 1 minute 30 around the lap.
Yeah, 29 laps is going to take a little while, you know, but it's a high-speed track, so I think as we get going a little bit and burn some fuel, you're going to see those lap times drop quite a bit as the fuel, you have to carry quite a bit of fuel to make this distance.
There was a change for 5th position. Exiting Cops, James Rawson has been able to pass Adam Fraser, who was very slow coming out of turn 1. So that switches them around. Sergio Fernandez back behind them in 7th, being followed by Kane Halliburton in 8th place.
Yeah, and a good battle here we're watching right there. Right in front of them was Sergio Macias and Michael Vandenberg as well. These guys are nose to tail. You can get quite a good draft off these cars, but then you do get that wash as you go into like these high-speed corners. You got to back off a little bit, otherwise you lose that front end.
Yeah, even though you're carrying a lot of momentum down through, you know, where you normally would be slowed at Vale, Club and Abbey, Bridge and Prix aren't exactly the best overtaking opportunities. I mean, it doesn't really lead into that section well. If you're going to make a pass, you've got to be a bit risky with it.
Yeah, you got to have full commitment. That's kind of a last lap pass. The best place, like you said, we showed on the guide, is at the end of the hanger straight, because you get it's quite straight, really wide going into the next corner, so there's a lot of room to dive on the inside.
Now remember, there was one driver who did not turn a lap during qualifying. We were curious as to what his pace was going to be. That was Sean Wiltshire. He started 19th. He has already moved all his way up to 12th. Definitely our biggest move in the field so far. And I'm not going to use our good friend Bill Zahn's rule of don't count him because he didn't turn a lap in qualifying, because he tried to. He just came up a little bit short. And right now he is thinking about trying to get 11th for Mark Pickford as they do the run down the back straight there. By the way, I noticed on the iRacing forums, Mark Pickford is a big Ferrari fan, and he is delighted that things fell into place for him to get behind the wheel of a Ferrari for this season.
Now, who wouldn't want to race the Ferrari, right? It's a beautiful car. these guys have been battling out since lap 1, so they've been going at it quite heavily. And we'll see how this plays out. Sean Wilshire, like you said, doing a good job, not getting a qualifying time in, staying out of the trouble and moving up to that 12th position, basically 5 laps in.
5 laps in, and already 4 drivers have officially retired from this race. Stefan Beluca, Ove Trantre, Louis Emerton, and John Stevens. All of the other 15 cars still out on track, still in the race, still on the lead lap, and actually all still covered within 20 seconds. This is a top of 2 splits going on right now, so a lot of points on the line.
Yeah, we do have a few good battles going on. Basically, battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. With Adam Frazier and Fernandez and Halliburton. These guys are nose to tail as they go through the Maggots-Beckett section. It's probably the most famous part of this track. And lead on to that back stretch here, the Hanger Straight. And we'll see if these guys can make a move. And then right behind them, you can see in that shot, we've got a bunch of cars. And here he goes. Fernandez is going to try to get on the inside. Not quite close enough, but that's going to leave a door open for Halliburton maybe to go around the outside. But nope, they all kind of fall in line here. Everybody's trying to stay clean. We've got a long ways to go still 23 laps left.
Long ways to go indeed, and a long ways to go for any of the drivers to try and run down Juha Novolamki by the end of the sin. He's already opened his gap up over the field to 3.2 seconds. It was last lap around. That being said, even though things are calm at the very front, as you mentioned, we've got a 3-way battle for 2nd, we've got a 3-way battle for 7th, and everyone 10th on back is quite close to their competitors too. But a long time for these battles to be resolved, and this track is definitely not short on passing opportunities. So 6 laps now in the books. Here comes that battle for 2nd. Rolling back out onto the Hannah Straight. By the way, the speeds that they are hitting at the end of a Hannah Straight here, 160 miles an hour. These 1978 based Formula 1 cars really getting a nice run going down there. And it's quite windy out there today, it must be said. I know we took a look at the weather a little while ago. A 10-mile-an-hour wind coming from the southwesterly direction, which could be upsetting a few of these drivers. But it seems that even though we had the drama throughout the first couple of laps of this race, ever since then it's calmed down a little bit now that these drivers have been able to get the rhythm, get the tyres up for temperature. We have a battle going on for 6th place right now as they go under bridge. Adam Frazier trying to defend against Sergio Fernandez, and both of these drivers running way ahead of what their iRating would indicate. Frazier in the 17 car, Fernandez in the 16 car, and yet here they are up battling for 6th position right now.
Yeah, this battle is heating up quite a bit. You can see how close they were with Fernandez and Halliburton, and they're kind of just all spread out. And Fernandez is definitely getting a little bit anxious here, kind of like watching the real Formula 1 race this morning. Oh, he's so close. A little bit of Verstappen move going on there, trying to force his way through on the grass, and unfortunately it left the door open for Halliburton. So now Frazier's got to worry about Halliburton instead of Fernandez.
Yeah, we're going to get a replay of this, and just to let you all know, we're not doing any F1 spoilers, and I think Richie emphasised that point when he said put him on the grass, because of course there's no grass in Singapore. Here we go. Yeah, watching the action through Maggots and Beckett's. We come back live. The order's changed up a bit. Halliburton now up front with Frazier and Fernandez behind.
Yeah, you got quite a train going on between these guys. I mean, right now, Halliburton's the cork in the bottle, just holding these guys back. Something's going to happen pretty soon, I think.
Well, Blaze now joins the battle. Kind of a Spider-Man looking paint scheme back there. But Halliburton, I think, actually, Richie, he was at the back of this pack. He might be trying to break away from them right now that he's found a way by.
Well, as much as these guys are battling behind him, all he's do is just run some clean laps, and he'll break that draft. I mean, pretty much it seems like Fraser's the one kind of holding everybody back, and fortunately Halliburton was able to get away from that. But you're definitely correct. I think he's got the pace to pull away from this pack and maybe make some time up on James Rawson, which is in 5th spot.
Yeah, so Halliburton in 6th, and then and off goes Ryan McCusker from 10th, and that's going to cost him a bunch of positions, and that's because this pack that we can see on screen goes all the way back to 14th place, and that's Pablo Suarez, who had that damage early on that he's trying to recover from.
Yeah, this is pretty much the rest of the field from 7th on back, so it's quite exciting. Still have a long ways to go here. Still have 20 laps, but it's exciting to watch these guys battle so hard so early on. And Halliburton has kind of broken that draft a little bit. So if he can put some clean laps, he's got about a 5, almost 6-second gap to the 5th spot in front of him. Battle behind him with Fraser, Fernandez, and Martin Blythe are all heating up, and then right behind them is another pack of 4 cars. Mark Pickford doing a good job running up in 10th spot there. It looks like he's started 16th, so he's picked his way through very well. He's got Sean Wilshire still behind him, who's been there the whole race. And I see Suarez back there as well, trying to get by Sean Macbeth, who hails from California, I noticed. So he's back home in his roots here in England, right?
Yeah, I don't even think we knew California existed when Shakespeare was around.
It existed, it just wasn't California.
Well, Macbeth doing a good job holding him off right now. Definitely a melting pot of diversity here in this series that you get behind this old F1 car, almost as a cauldron, if you will.
Yeah, this is really good racing.
That's the best I've got for now.
No, this is really good racing. I don't have any Shakespeare, so you won't get anything from me. I think I slept through those classes.
It's hard to sleep watching all these guys right now. They're all not a whole lot of passing opportunities going on, but whenever a driver makes a mistake, as what we saw McCusker do a couple of laps ago, it's really going to cost him, because they are all so tightly bunched together, even though we are about a third of it away through this event.
Yeah, and you're not missing anything really up front. Everybody, the top 4 positions are all where they started is where they're running. Not much battling going on right now, but we'll probably see that heat up later on and we get close to the end. The real battle is what we've been watching earlier, is that basically that 7th, 8th, all those positions right on back. Those guys are battling pretty hard. Right now, Mark Pickford has got we got a car off where it looked like Sean Macbeth almost lost it, kept it going from turn 1. Just came off of turn 1 here, just saw it in the background there. It's coming in. It's a really important corner. You got to really get a good drive through here, but it's real easy to just kind of get on the gas a little too hard. You can see he's got some understeer out in the grass. Not much traction out there, but he's able to keep it going. Only lost 1 spot to Suarez.
Meanwhile, things getting quite tight again for 6th position. Halliburton was able to break away from them temporarily, but now Adam Fraser's running right back down. And they're running nose to tail for 6th with a bit of a gap over the rest of the pack.
Yeah, Fraser's put in a good lap that last time around. It was a 130.8 next to Halliburton's 31.2, so he was definitely able to put something together and kind of regroup and get that spot, get right back on the back of him so he can try to regain that spot. Then you have the 2 guys behind them, Fraser and Fernandez, battling as well. Oh, Halliburton get a little bit loose coming off that section there, trying to get on the gas a little too early. It's brought basically Fraser right up behind him. He's going to try to take a look. Oh, this is going to be close. No room to really pass there. It's one of the tougher spots to get by somebody.
With 11 laps in the book of this 29-lap race, we're quickly approaching the halfway point. you'll expect to see the lap times actually drop as the race goes on. These cars are so weight sensitive, they really pick up speed as fuel burns off as long as you take care of your tires. And so maybe that will lead to this pack being even more dicey in the second half of this race. Right now, Halliburton holding on in 6th, Ed Fraser 7th, Fernandez in 8th, Blaze in 9th, and then they've actually been able to break away from the guys 10th on back.
Yeah, we got 2 distinct packs going on, it seems like. We got basically Halliburton, Fraser, Fernandez, and Blaze, and then just a little bit of a gap back to Pickford, and then you got another battle for 4th spot. Pickford and Sean Wilshire have been nose to tail this whole race, Pickford's had that car in his mirrors this whole time. Meanwhile, Pablo Suarez still not able to make much moves. He started 6th, had a little bit of an incident on the first lap and lost a lot of spots, but he hasn't been able to make up many. He's still in 13th position. He's trying to get by Ryan McCluster, but he's not really able to make the moves up like we normally see him do.
Yeah, could still be struggling with a bit of damage. Meanwhile, let's not overlook what's happening up front here. I know it's definitely not as interesting right now as what's going back on further in the pack, but Nora Lumpke's lead has kind of stalled between 3.5 to 4 seconds. Maria was actually a 10th faster than him last lap, so it will be interesting to see if Maria has something in the closing stages of this race. So Nora Lumpke leads Maria, Maciej, Vandenberg and Rawson, and then of course we get back to all this action going on here, where as Richie just mentioned, it's kind of broken up into 2 4-car packs.
Yeah, and we'll see. Maybe Nora Lampe's kind of saving the tires a little bit. He knows there's still a long ways to go. We're not even quite halfway.
And Suarez getting a bit of a run on McCusker as they work their way down to bridge. He's not within striking range, but you could definitely tell he was weaving around the track a little bit, trying to get the best slipstream he could, and almost thinking about sticking his nose down the inside there. Looks like Suarez really wants to try and make his pass work for 12th place now. He's realizing that, hey, we're approaching halfway in the race. Macbeth, he's not really giving me a whole lot of pressure from behind, so maybe I should try and make a move now.
Yeah, he looks like he's getting a little bit anxious, but he got so close you could see the understeer that happened. Meanwhile, on screen is this battle between Mark Pickford and Sean Wilshire. It's been going on non-stop for 14 straight laps, and you can tell a little bit of urgency on some of these guys trying to make these passes. I think some of them are getting tired of following and they want to lead, and so we might see a little bit of some careless moves maybe in the next coming laps. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, I think what's happened, Richie, is over the past few laps that the pack has broken up a little bit, and maybe instead of, just knowing that as long as they stayed with the pack, they would be okay for the end of a race, the drivers are realizing, uh-oh, I'm losing time to that driver 2 or 3 places ahead of me, and if I want to catch him, and I think I'm faster than him, I need to get by this guy that's holding me up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And driving in that turbulent air is not good for your tires, just like in real life. So if you watch these guys a little bit, you can see they're getting a lot of understeer when they're behind these cars, and that's just killing their tires. This battle's gonna heat up, and right behind them, you definitely have Suarez trying as hard as he can to get by McCusker. So we got a nice battle here for both these spots. Even though they're running, 10th, 11th, 13th, 14th, they're still battling hard. And meanwhile, up front, Nora Lampe, he's just managing that gap, I believe. He's right at 3.9 seconds. He's put in his fastest lap of the last one as he went around. So, he's doing just fine. I think Nuno's trying really hard, but I don't think he has any more than what he's got.
Since this is the Classic Team Championship, obviously there's multiple teams and paint schemes being run out there right now, but let's get to that in a moment because there's a change for 12th. Pablo Lumbrera Suarez makes the move stick at the end of a Hannah straight, going to Stowe, and gets by Ryan McCusker. Now, of course, the question, as there's definitely long straight here, is will McCusker think about challenging? It doesn't look like it's going to happen now. So move Suarez up into 12th. But what I was about to say, Richie, is let's take a look at some of our championship teams that we know will be running the full season. Pablo Lumbrera Suarez is one of them racing in those cars. He is racing for the Oberlad Tag Williams racing team. His teammate for the season will be Kevin Colche. Other drivers out there, Adam Fraser. I believe I saw him earlier. Yes, yeah, there he is. He's up in 7th position in that number 17 machine. That is the Equip Tolbot Dritanas paint scheme he is running there.
That's Gitan.
Gitans. Okay.
It's a French cigarette company.
All right, and I obviously was not around for this paint scheme, so you're a lot more familiar with pronouncing that than myself.
I was actually sponsored by them when I raced Formula Renault back in 1990 in France, so they were one of my sponsors. That's how I know.
And you have to send us a picture of that car.
Okay, I'll do that. I even had hair back then, too. I'm bald now, so...
Alright, and get back on track with what's going on down on the circuit right here. There's one more driver out there, I believe, racing in one of the top teams, and that, of course, we gave him a shout out earlier. Mark Pickford racing for the Scuderia Ferrari Spa Cefac team out there, currently running in 10th place.
Yeah, and just watching what was going on with Suarez, he's caught up to the back of these guys. He finally got by Ryan McCusker, who was kind of holding them up. And, like I say, Suarez is caught up to Wilshire and Pickford, who's been battling out for 17 laps. I mean, Suarez qualified 6th, so he's got the pace to be in front of these guys. I don't know if he has the wherewithal to get by them.
Side by side, almost coming into Maggotts and Beckers for 6th place. Sorry there, Richie, but Adam Fraser is thinking it's time to make a move.
Yeah, no problem. We're just talking about some of the other ones. But Adam Fraser, yeah, he lost that position to Halliburton earlier on. He wants it back. So, we got, 12 laps left. And this is heating up quite nicely.
12 laps left to go as they come to the line. So here they go through Club and Vale. A lot easier to get out of Club when it's not a first gear corner, isn't it?
No, definitely in that car, because it's an H-pattern gearbox, so it's really tough to get that thing back into 2nd and then 3rd so quickly. I'd like to give a little shout out to James Rawson, started 8th, running in 5th right now. I mean, he's by himself, but he's done a great job. And, we've got to give him a little love as well. Meanwhile, Fraser heating up with Halliburton. So they come out of that last section here onto the front straight.
"12 laps on the board, and we are definitely starting to enter the closing stages of this race. Less than 10 seconds continues to cover the drivers running 6th all the way back down to 13th place or so. Obviously, some of those battles closer to others, but once again, we need to emphasize, even these drivers running in 6th and 7th right now can't afford the spin because they'll lose 10 positions out of it.
Yeah, it's quite close all the way through. I mean, you're just right. If you make a mistake, you're going to lose more than one spot. I was just watching Halliburton just a second ago, and he's trying hard. He's dropping wheels in the grass, so he's not just cruising around. He's fighting hard with Fraser, who's also bringing Fernandez along with him. They kind of dropped off Martin Bly. He's running by himself in 9th now. Started 14th, running 9th, so it's a nice job, but he's not in the fight. Meanwhile, Pickford, Wilshire, and Suarez these guys, Suarez is definitely caught right up to the back of this battle. And I'm sure Suarez is looking to maybe get 2 more spots that he lost early on.
Yeah, also 2 of our championship teams that we just gave a shout out to might be battling each other before the end of this sin. Pickford running there in Ferrari. Barry West, his teammate, Wiltshire, making sure he doesn't get Suarez running into the back of him there. We mentioned Colshay will be Suarez's teammate throughout the season. And then just to follow up on that point, or continue on from that point, as they work their way down the front straight here.
Yeah, these guys are basically slowing themselves up because they've brought Ryan McCusker back into the mix. It's interesting to see who's fast down the straight, who's fast in the corners, because downforce levels do come into play. And here comes Wilshire right on the back of Mark Pickford. So we did see earlier that Suarez was sticking his nose in there on Wilshire. So we'll see how this ends up. I mean, Mark's been doing a good job holding these guys back, but they're starting to get a little bit hungrier as we get closer to the end.
Now Adam Fraser racing in number 17.
Yeah,
he has lost a position to Sergio Fernandez. So Adam Fraser running in that G-Tons livery scheme. Did I get it right that time, Richie?
Yep.
Unfortunately, a mistake here, or at least pass going to cost him 7th place. And the point I was trying to make a moment ago, his teammate for the season is Charles-Eric Lemelin. And I did miss a driver who is still out there running on course in one of our championship teams. James Rawson, currently running up there in 5th place. He is currently racing for the Ragno Arrows Beta Racing team. His teammate this season will be Sami Villamarchi.
Yeah, we got some good battles here. Oh, Halliburton goes off the track in turn 1, and he's gonna lose it back and forth right in front of the field. Oh, unfortunately, I was just watching that on board, and he just got the biggest tank slapper you can get. And there you go. Like we talked about, you make one mistake, he just lost 5 positions, maybe 6. So that's too bad. He's running 6th place. He's going to be all the way back down now into, looks like 12th.
Yes.
He just couldn't stave. It was back and forth. He tried.
A simple mistake, very costly, as you mentioned. 6 positions could have been a lot worse. Nice evasive maneuvering by Sergio Fernandez and Adam Fraser to get by him without contact at one of the fastest parts of the track.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just have to pick a lane and go for it. There wasn't really time to change your mind. So it's a good job by both those drivers. But they're battling hard here right now as Fraser wants that position back. And now that's a battle for 7th instead of 8th. So I'll keep an eye on this as we watch it on screen.
It's a battle for 6th and 7th rather than 7th and 8th as it was before.
Yep, you're right.
With Fernandez holding down that position. That's always a bit of a good feeling in a way, though, when you're Fraser. Yeah, you just lost a spot a couple of laps ago, but you just gained one from someone else's mistakes. So, nothing really happened.
That's just the way it goes. You take what you can get. That battle for basically for 9th position now, a top 10 position between Mark, Wilshire, and Suarez has not stopped. So if Mark pulls Sean Wilshire off, he's going to get tired. He's going to be tired of looking at that blue car in his mirrors for basically 29 laps. But Sean's getting pretty antsy. You can see he's getting right up underneath the gearbox, but that's bringing Suarez as well. So this is going to get pretty exciting, I think, as we get closer to the end.
And here they come down into Stowe. Once again, Suarez getting very close to Wiltshire on the entry of a turn. But Wiltshire gets a massive run out of the exit of a turn. Can't do anything with it, though, as they are quickly into Vale.
Yeah, this leads on to another section, though. If you can get a good run, you're going to go into this high-speed left-hander. It's flat out, downhill. You're not going to be able to pass through this next section. But you do come into probably the heaviest braking section is coming up right about here, and then this next area. So, here comes Wilshire. He's going to stick his nose underneath. Not quite close enough. He's probably... here goes... Oh, Suarez, you couldn't get any closer than that. He definitely saw an opportunity and went for it.
Yeah, trying to make a pass down the inside of Brooklands there, but realised that was a door that was going to close. However, things definitely getting dicey between these three drivers as they enter the last 8 laps of the race, and the more they battle, could that bring the... Oh no! Halliburton, big spin!
Yeah, he sent it off. That's called sending it right off the corner. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but he just went in this corner a little too fast. I mean, it is almost flat out, but we'll see what happens. It's coming up right now. Oh, he dropped some wheels on the entry to the corner, and there he goes. Fortunately, there's a lot of runoff room there, a lot of pavement. It just keeps on going.
I recall, I believe we saw a couple of Formula One drivers in the World Championship even do that earlier this season. Definitely an easy mistake to make here at the Silverstone course. But this battle for 9th, 10th and 11th rages on, and now they don't have the pressure of Halliburton behind them.
Yeah, this is the best battle on track, although Fernandez and Fraser are still pretty close, but not as close as these three right now. And I'm really getting a little bit... Suarez is definitely looking to get by Wilshire. I think he's going to... We've already seen that he's willing to stick his nose in there. I don't think Wilshire... Oh! But didn't think Wilshire knew how close it's come a couple times, as his focus is most likely on Mark in front of him.
Yeah, we mentioned this is best battle on the track, even though we were monitoring the gap between our two race leaders, Nora Lumpke and Maria earlier on, where it stalled out at about 3.5 seconds. It has since expanded to 5.5 seconds. Nora Lumpke definitely putting on a dominant performance out there today.
Yeah, he's just running away with this. And those top 4 guys have all running right where they started. Here comes Wilshire on. Oh, he's going to get by him. I don't know what happened. Mark might have missed a shift or something, but he was slow coming off that last corner, and that's left the door open. Here comes Mark back again on the outside. Let's see if they can do it. And here comes Suarez. This is a great battle here.
But did you see the run that Pickford got down the Hanna Straight? It definitely appears that he has more top speed in that Ferrari, perhaps through a lower downforce ski setup, and he definitely made advantage of that. They cleared Wilshire just barely as they went through Vale, and so they all returned station, but maybe this is why no one's been able to do anything with Pickford. He's simply too fast down the straights.
Yeah, that was a pretty decisive move he made on Wilshire. Went around the outside and then just shut the door right on top of them. This has brought Ryan McCusker back into the mix as well, so it's now a 4-car battle for that 9th spot.
So Pickford, who's been defensive a lot of this race, ahead of Wiltshire, who's started at the back. He's been working his way up, and now he has a nose on the inside as they come into Copse. Oh, he gets loose on entry and overcorrects it.
Wow, that was as close as you can get. And that's gave the position up to Suarez, but somebody had to give. You can't really go through that section side by side without something happening. And we got the replay coming up on that. It was quite exciting.
By the narrowest of margins, he was able to avoid Pickford. I mean, there's nothing Pickford does wrong here. They just throw it into the turn, and one of the cars stuck, and the other one didn't.
Yeah, just threaded the needle in between Pickford and Suarez, and he didn't hit anything either. So the good thing that's runoffs there is going to continue on. Did lose a couple of spots, but he was trying. He definitely was not going to just stick behind that Ferrari the whole time.
Oh, Macbeth in Bubble Boy in trouble here. Off in the grass. A little bit of the front wing damage there.
Yeah, just got a little bit loose. You're trying to get as much drive as you can. Oh, and Suarez. Sorry, let's go back to Mark Pickford. Suarez just dumped Mark Pickford coming off that underneath the bridge there. Just got right into the back of him and took him out.
We'll get a replay of exactly what happened, and I think Suarez is yielding back the position that, or he has. We'll watch a replay here. see that I think it got away unscathed, Richie, but Suarez was very slow on track. I think he was just yielding the position once they recovered.
Yeah, but in the meantime, also a couple other guys, Wilshire and McCusker, go by. So even though he gave the position back, you know, Pickford lost 2 spots in the net result. You can see he just comes in, just kind of dumps them. And I know he probably felt bad, gave him the position, but damage was done.
So this was all happening for 9th place. Well, the driver in 9th place now is Ryan McCusker. Wiltshire is back up into 10th position after his spin a little while ago, ahead of Pickford in 11th, ahead of Suarez in 12th. So they're all still racing each other, and even Kane Halliburton. So all these drivers have had a spin, and their spins have basically cost them the same amount of time. Meanwhile, good battle going on here.
Battle for P3 with Sergio and Michael Vandenberg. Looks like Sergio's struggling a little bit with his tires. He was really slow coming off through turn 1, and it's brought Michael Vandenberg up into the mix, so we got a nice battle for that final podium spot. Some of these guys, you know, if they ran a really low downforce setup, tires start to wear, this is where they're going to start paying the price for that loss of grip.
As we're about to enter the closing stages of a race with only 3 laps left to go when they cross the line this time by. Here they come through Club and Vale, and then it doesn't really look like we're seeing a whole lot of passing attempts go on down this straight through Abbey and Bridge here, Richie, but once again to the final sector of the track, drivers are definitely starting to get more ambitious and aggressive now in these slow corners that lead you back to the start-finish line.
Yeah, and as those tires wear, it gets harder to stop these things, so no ABS. So this is where you can try to pressure that driver in front, just try to drive it in a little too deep, and then you can get the run off the next corner. This battle on the screen there between basically Fernandez and Frazier is also heating up, so we got a bunch of battles going on with that Pickford and Suarez. Basically, Ryan McCusker moved up 3 spots, and he's cleared those guys, so it was a good little exchange for him, and Sean Wilshire back in at 10th.
Yeah, we're watching this good battle going on for 6th place right now. Sergio Fernandez has had a quieter race compared to the drivers behind him, doing a nice job out there in that 16 machine.
Yeah, this Adam Frazier.
A big off for Glenn Corrigan, the driver running around in 15th position. He's had a spin, got into the wall. Hopefully he'll be able to keep it going for the final few laps.
He's got some major damage. That thing's not driving straight, so he's going to have to just come into the pit lane.
He's actually a lap down now. The only driver, by the way, so far this race to fall a lap down. Very competitive split we have seen here today. The leaders working their way by, coming to the go sign when they cross the line this time by. And I just find it funny in a way, Richie, that all those drivers we saw battling for 9th and 10th earlier, they all had to spin. We said, oh, they're all done, but they all had to spin. That's the key there, and they're all battling for 10th once again in the closing laps.
Yeah, they've seen a lot of little mistakes from, you know, a majority of the field, but they haven't hit anything, so they're able to get back going, and then the guy in front of them has a mistake, so it brings them right back into it. I mean, we saw Halliburton, he's had 2 big mistakes, and he's still running. Even though he's 13th, he's still running.
And the closest battle out of all of us right now is for 11th, and it's the 2 drivers that got into each other going through this section of the track not too long ago, Mark Pickford and Pablo Suarez. And I almost wonder if Suarez is going to be extra careful in the closing stages here just to make sure there's no contact between the 2 of them again.
I'm sure he is, but he's got to worry about Halliburton behind him, so he can't back off too much. So Halliburton's trying hard to grab a couple of those spots. He was running up in, I think it was 6th spot earlier. No, maybe it was a little bit farther back, but he was running in the top 10 earlier before he had those offs.
It wouldn't surprise me if he was up as high as 6th place, because remember we had a couple of our leaders taken out at the start. And talking about the leaders, they're about to start the final lap with a battle for third heating up.
And Nora Lampe's got a healthy 7.8 second lead over Nuno Moreira, but the battle for third and fourth with Macias and Vandenberg has not stopped.
A lot of battles left to be resolved and just one lap left to resolve them. We've been mentioning all race long, yeah, this could be a passing opportunity, but it's a bit too risky, or you don't want to risk contact. Well, that doesn't really matter anymore. Martin Vandenberg, he can't, let's see, this is the best passing opportunity he would have down here, and Macias knows that. He's weaving across the track, trying to break the slipstream.
Yeah, he's trying, definitely. He wants that, you know, it's a big thing, get that last podium spot. So it's more of just an emotional part, not too much difference in the points, but you want to be, say you're in the podium. So we'll watch this battle here on screen. We also got a good battle here between Fraser and Fernandez right behind them too.
But as they work their way around the last lap, Nora Lumpke is working his way around the last turn. And the driver of the number 2 machine here is gonna finish in position number 1 from position number 1 on the grid. Juha Nora Lumpke takes the season opening win here in the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship.
Yeah, coming behind him is Nuno Moreira, in second spot.
Yeah, no change for third. Macias beats Vandenberg. What about sixth though? They're coming through Brooklands, Luffield and Brooklands right now, Richie.
Yeah, not many chances left here for Fraser to try, but he's looking like he's trying. Meanwhile, James Rawson comes into a nice 5th spot, kind of a lonely 5th, but he'll take it. Here we go on screen with Fernandez and Fraser. Yep, this is going to finish just like how we see it.
And the battle for 11th still on. Pickford ahead of Suarez, and Pickford makes a big mistake there, trying to drive it in hard into Brooklands. Suarez going to try and make a pass stick on the outside through the final turn. He has a nose ahead, and he should be able to get it, but Pickford has a shorter way around, and Pickford will actually edge him at the line as they crash, heading into Cox.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that Mark Pickford had less downforce because he just got a hell of a drive off that corner and right at the finish line just chops him off. So that was an exciting finish for sure.
0.04 of a second is what Pickford had.
You can see him drive off that corner there. I mean, he just drives right on by him, squeezes him over, and there we go, on his lid, but still finishes up in front of him.
So a dramatic end to a dramatic race to open up the 2018 season of the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship. We'll get to talk to some of our drivers here in just a few moments on the GSRC, and we'll be back with a full race rundown. Don't go away. Hello and welcome back to Silverstone, where we just witnessed the opening round of the 2018 Season 4 season to the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship here. And at the end of the day, it was Juha Nooralampki taking home the win by over 7 seconds over Nuno Moreira in second place. Sergio Macias rounded out the podium in third after holding off Michel Vandenberg there in the closing stages. James Rawson rounded out the top 5, one of our big movers in the top 10 after avoiding the early incidents, ahead of Sergio Fernandez, who came home in 6th. Adam Fraser was never far behind him. He crossed the line in 7th, ahead of Martin Blaze, who had a bit of a quiet race out there in 8th. Ryan McCusker was the first of our many drivers that had a spin, but was able to salvage a decent finish out of it. And he crosses the line ahead of Sean Wiltshire, who started last and finishes 10th.
Yeah, in 11th spot is Mark Pickford, who had a wild race with basically Wilshire and Suarez and a wild finish going on as lid there. Pablo Suarez finishes right behind him, started 6th, probably a little disappointed, ended up 12th. Kane Halliburton had an exciting race as well, finishes 13th. Sean Macbeth, 14th, was the first of our lap down drivers. Glenn Corrigan had a little bit of an issue. Stitt finished 15th. Lewis Emerton, 16th. Ove Trinkerade also probably a little disappointed, had an issue early on, finishes 17th. John Stevens and Stefan Beluca, who had a wreck right at the start, finishes 18th and 19th.
Well, we've been able to catch up with a couple of our drivers, including our race winner. Juha, congratulations!
Hi, sorry.
Hello. Yep, your microphone's working now. We can hear you fine.
Okay, sorry, I was typing something. Well, yes, it was really fun to be back for this time at least, and I was really surprised that I was so fast, and I don't know what was the reason, but I made some setup changes for my equipment and to my wheel and to my car, and I think that was the key this time.
Yeah, there's really not much to say about your race. I mean, you put on a flawless performance out there, was able to lead flag to flag. So let's talk about your season, since there's a season opener. How many rounds do you expect to make this year?
Well, Samuel, I don't know. I just wanted to try for a while that if I can match the speed of the top guys. And well, this was a pleasant surprise, and perhaps I will try some other races in the next few weeks also. But I cannot be sure because I don't know how busy I will be with the other engagements. But well, yes. Let's see what happens, but I can't promise anything.
Now, normally, these Lotus 79 machines, they seem to be quite kind on their tyres. From my experience, they'll handle a bit better towards the end of a race as you burn off fuel, even though you do get a little bit of tyre wear. Do you have to be careful when you're setting your cars up to run as competitively as you do, that you don't dial in a setup that's too abusive to the tyres?
Well, this thing is one of those secrets, I suppose, that many don't realize that these tires don't wear. I just looked at my tire wear, and it was almost 90% left at the front and over 90% left at the rears. But well, you can do much more with the setup when this is possible, that you don't have to manage your tire wear almost at all. And I think that could give us some more speed for the corners, and I think that's something to look forward for the slower guys also.
All right, well, thanks for coming to talk to us, Juha, and hopefully we'll see you back again soon, and maybe you'll be able to get a couple more wins this season.
Yeah, thanks, Samuel, and let's see what happens, and thank for these broadcasts, and keep up the good work, and God bless you all, guys, and bye-bye.
So that was our race winner, Juha Noora Lampke. We're about to get another driver mic'd up here, real quick. And here we go. We've caught up with our 11th place finisher, Mark Pickford. Now, Mark, normally 11th place isn't, you know, a place that drivers like to brag about, but boy, you had to earn it out there today, and it was quite a dramatic finish too. And Marco, you're having a little bit of microphone difficulty there. We're not able to hear you, so give him a couple of seconds here. Try and see if you can get that fixed. Still not hearing you, Mark. And while we're giving Mark a couple extra moments, maybe go in his settings and tweak a couple of things there. We'll recap his race, of course. He was involved in spin with Pablo Lumbrera Suarez with a few laps left to go. Suarez yielded back the position, but then as they came to the line, they battled wheel to wheel. Pickford was able to edge Suarez out over the line, although it got a little dramatic once they crossed the stripe and headed into Copse. And Mark, I'm afraid I'm still not able to hear anything from you. Okay, well, apologies, Mark. We're not. We're having a bit of technical difficulties right now, but I also know I saw on the forums that you were delighted to be racing for the Ferrari this season. So thanks for putting on the show for us all today. And yeah, I know the Ferrari didn't look as pretty after it crossed the finish line, but it was definitely entertaining to watch. All right, well, that's going to do it for us here on GSRC. We will be back next week at Interlagos for round 2 of the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship. We would like to thank all of the organisers and the competitors from the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship for choosing GSRC and coming out today putting on a great show. We would also like to thank all of the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts, and you can see them all listed on your screen. Additional thanks goes out to Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde to provide us with our great music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their work. Thanks to the team today, Richie, Amjad and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, and Instagram at GSRC_gram. All of the upcoming races for our other series are listed on screen, so check those out. Mark them down in your calendar and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you.